Welcome back to our channel. Today we're playing some more Pirate Warriors 4. We're going to be checking out the newest update to Bonney, where they gave her Gear 5 as a transformation on the Egghead DLC. I'm super excited to get into that, and I also just kind of want to talk about Egghead a little bit, because I do post my reactions, but sometimes I have some extra thoughts, or I talk with some people in the comments and stuff, and I just have a few things I would like to chat about and yap about for a little bit. But yeah, I think we're just going to do a new world mission, and I looked up here one just with a bunch of Marines, because we will be playing Bonney. I haven't yet, but afterwards I also want to check what she looks like when she goes Gear 5 in her alternate outfit. I assume she just changes outfits still, but it's cool that you can do that, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, let's hop right into this mission. Alright, here we go. I'm actually kind of excited to see what she has to offer now, because I did enjoy her character when I played her, but I think she needed a little bit more, and I said in that video I didn't really spoil it because it hadn't happened in the anime yet, but I really wanted them to have the Gear 5 for her, because it's really iconic for that moment. I thought it might just end up be a super attack, but I'm glad she got a full-on transformation. Looks really good. I do think she does, from the small bit of gameplay I have seen, it doesn't look like she has a ton of combos. Oh, nice. That's her triangle. Jumps up. She runs through the air slightly different than Luffy, too. It's more like a hover. Get this Pacifista here. Not really something Bonney would ever do, but we'll get it done. I absolutely loved how they did the Gear 5 in the anime. It was even better than I expected, to be honest, and the fact that we had, like, two really good... Oh, that combo attack's awesome. Yeah, like, they did that attack really well, just everything with her. And one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about, that even though they showed her get pretty buffed up, and, like, the one thing that's a little bit of a counter-argument, but something just kind of the anime does, is they did give her Black Lightning, which usually showcase Conqueror's Hockey. So that's a little bit against the point I'm about to make, but for the most part, I really like how they adapted even the additional stuff in Gear 5 for Bonney. She was still struggling to keep the form. It wasn't like she had complete control over it, and it was definitely way weaker than Luffy's version, so I like that they kept that up. That made me actually pretty happy. And then, yeah, overall, that's the main thing I wanted to talk about with Bonney. Mostly just wanted an excuse to talk about more Egghead, just because I've just been so in love with the anime lately. I always have been. Like, I loved Wano as well, but there's just been something about Egghead. Personally, I've always loved the smaller, like, in-between type arcs where they're, like, set up, like Punk Hazard, even, like, Thriller Bark, I really love. Zoe is really, like, I love a lot of those smaller ones. Like, Sabaody is, like, one of my personal favorite arcs in the whole show still. God, it's so cool that she has to team up with her dad and Luffy and her combos. It's sweet. But yeah, those are both things that I really appreciate. And, like, one thing also about Bonney and the whole situation there is I loved how they showed Luffy being like a mentor and like a big brother to her. I think it's a really good dynamic. It worked really well, and I think it showcased even better in the anime with him like protecting her from attacks when she's transforming and stuff. It all just worked really well. Yeah, and then on the most recent episode there, I had a mention thing where I said like one of my theories was probably dead about how the Straw Hat, or like Joy Boy, was smaller than I was expecting, or I thought he might be a giant with the giant Straw Hat and stuff we saw. And someone in the comments reminded me that if you actually scale it, he's about the size of Emmett's head, so he's likely like a buccaneer or something along those lines, which would make sense with Kuma's backstory and everything. So the Straw Hat is still very much likely his, which is something I just appreciate someone reminding me of, because in One Piece, scale can be hard to keep track of sometimes. So that was just another thing I wanted to mention in this video. I forget what the guy's name is off the top of my head, but if you just look at my newest reaction, you can see him talking in the comments with me. That was a cool attack with the Black Lightning there. Um, yeah, and then the way they adapted, like, everything with Joy Boy and Emmett and everything with the Conquerors hockey was way better than I was expecting. After we had two, like, back-to-back just absolute episodes, I thought it was going to be a pretty lackluster episode. There's maybe the one thing with, like, the panel not getting showcased, like, is how some people wanted and how I kind of expected, but that didn't really bother me, to be honest. That's just a smaller thing. But, like, the actual episode looked great, like the splitting of the sky and, like, the sea and everything from the hockey and knocking out all the vice admirals and, like, the black and white shots. Like, all of that looked really good. And I did go back and look in the manga, too. Like, it totally was the same way where, like, Emmett just pulls it out of his body. And it's a really big rope, so that's also another thing that adds to Joy Boy being so big, is he's the one who tied that knot, and it's massive. But also just going into, like, Joy Boy and everything. Joy Boy and Emmett's relationship, when I've been rewatching some reactions and just rewatched the episode on my own time, I can't help but have a similar feeling of Luffy and Laboon. It's slightly different because Emmett can talk, but it's like that same sort of thing where they were like helping him out to like continue on into the future, and just their like the little relationship between them just like really reminded me of that. And it's not something I think I mentioned in my reaction or anything like that, so I wanted to just mention that too because I found it pretty cute. I also really loved Emmett and Joy Boy's voice acting, especially in the newest episode. It was really good. Also, the emu scream that was like a fucking Call of Duty Zombies scream was kind of crazy, but I'm here for it. I can't wait for us to get to the next arc and see a lot of things and how they get adapted. I'm excited that we're actually moving to a seasonal format if we're going to keep up this level of quality in the anime, because it's like, when One Piece is doing its best, it's honestly some of, like, my favorite animation ever. And, like, the quality can be so, like, at its peak, it's so good. Like, especially, like, sometimes even just, like, when you're looking at the animation, like, the depth and, like, the way they're able to display stuff, Toei has some cracked animators working for them now. I really hope they get the recognition that they deserve in that company, because they are putting in so much work. And then other than that, really, I want to talk about, I think I did mention it in my reaction, but, like, the hockey not being, like, reminiscent of the technology that the Skypian, or Weberian, scientists used, that, Nami used, that I think it was a wind knot is what it was called. But yeah, it's a very similar technique, so I assume it's like old technology of some sort from the Advanced Kingdom. I have a lot of questions about the Advanced Kingdom because I assume it's going to be, I don't know if it'll be as sci-fi as like Egghead itself. I think it will be advanced in a slightly different way, possibly. And then we're going to see some of the things like the ancient weapons and stuff that are left over from that timeline still, or like that period still in our current time. And that's like the old technology and stuff, like Emmett, basically. Oh, down at the bottom. And then the one other thing I wanted to mention that I don't even think I really picked up this on when I was watching it. Oh, actually, two things. There's a funny one that I'll actually say first, is Mars, when they get sent back to Marie Joy, and fucking Mars is just sitting on the chair. First time he's ever been shown sitting in that chair, because he finally gets there first. It's not anything, like, important, I don't think, at all, but it was just so funny. And then also, Saturn getting left behind because he wasn't sent in one of the circles is really funny to me. Bro really was the downfall of the Gorosei, especially. They all kind of didn't do perfect, besides fucking Nasjuro, who was just aura farming 100% of the arc. Yeah, he kind of fumbled the bag a bit. But the other actual, I think I wanted to talk about that was more important that I wanted to go over is that when they showed Luffy and Kobe's conversation, I did notice it was like newly animated. I think I talked about how like Luffy looks in the new animation, but like when he was more lanky and stuff like that. But I didn't notice they're actually in the location, like the manga accurate location. Because if you've never read the One Piece manga, when Luffy fights Alvida, or at least at the beginning of that whole section, they're at like a hideout camp in like a forest or something along those lines. So it was kind of cool to see them adapt that version. We have seen like some things like that where when they do flashbacks, they adapt it more properly. Like we finally saw at one point, I forget when it was, Luffy do like the stabbing on his face that didn't get showed at the start. And I think they've showed like the bar scene with Shanks and him getting his devil fruit in the canon way and then like the original way. So it is interesting we get stuff like that where they're acknowledge the actual canon. Also, that's basically all I want to talk about the episode, other than basically just how much I love it. Oops. I absolutely love this update for Bonney, though. I feel like I've never been to this part of this map before. I played this game so much. Yeah, she looks really good. But honestly, just Gear 5 Bonney in general is a concept I loved so much when I saw it in the manga that seeing it in the anime was even better in my opinion. Like, it elevated it by a lot. But that's Gear 5 in general in my opinion. Like, it was cool when I saw it in the manga. When you see it in the anime and all like the fun the animators have with it and everything along those lines, and just like the way they adapt like the transformation aspects of it, and like all that is just so cool, and they just go all out for it. So it's like even better than the manga most times. But yeah, Bonney definitely feels a lot more complete now that she has this built into her moveset. I think it works a lot better than her normal like full force burst. I also have been focusing more on talking, so my gameplay was probably not perfect or anything like that, but I wanted to make a video about her update, and I also just wanted to talk about One Piece, so 2 birds with 1 stone worked out. I'm kind of getting bodied right here, though. I did also max out her soul map and everything. I haven't done that for the other 2 DLC characters yet, because I honestly only played one other time besides when I recorded my video for the DLC. There's a few games I'm still lacking on, like, still need to live stream my fucking Rebirth of Souls playthrough for the campaign, because I still haven't touched that. I've been playing through Soul Resonance on my phone. Pretty good game. I have a few complaints, like with the stamp system is a little bit annoying, and just not having all the cutscenes approved yet kind of sucks. But other than that, I'm having a blast with that game as well, so it's making me want to play Rebirth of Souls really bad. And I just want to have, what's his, Final Getsuga Tensho Ichigo. Not related to One Piece at all, but just related to my channel and whatnot. But yeah, I'm honestly always happy that this game got more DLC. I was so surprised the first time that it got DLC. I didn't get a clear time because I was yapping, but yeah, I was really happy with this game that it gets more DLC. I know some people prefer or hate when like older games still get DLC. Like, people get so mad when Xenoverse gets DLC, but honestly, I would rather have that than like a half-baked sequel where you lose out on a lot of settings. Especially with series like this where we're so caught up. One Piece is a little bit different because this game especially has a lot of characters that it could still add. So they could definitely do a new game and fully do a story mode. But like Dragon Ball has so many games that are like completed and have like everything besides the manga content. So it's a little bit harder to justify making new games probably. But yeah, I just have fun with anime games anyways. I'm a sucker for buying DLC and characters and stuff like that. There's actually a few anime games like the My Hero games coming out. I still haven't played the second Demon Slayer game. I think there's a few things like that. I haven't played the Jujutsu Kaisen game, even though that didn't go over well. And I think there's a Hunter x Hunter game coming out. Like a lot of stuff like that is coming out, and I would love to showcase more stuff like that on my channel. I just don't buy full price games, so I always wait for stuff to go on sale because I do not got the money to buy $80 games constantly as a Canadian, and Canadian money is it's like 80 to 100 bucks or more for some versions and stuff like that. So I usually wait for sales besides like DLCs or like I bought like Bleach brand new because I've been waiting for a Bleach game for like years and years. But that's pretty much all for this video. Quickly edit it down, have this uploaded, and if this goes out on, I believe it's still Monday today, so there might also be My Hero Vigilantes reaction coming out today. If not, it will be out tomorrow. But other than that, I'll catch you guys all later, and peace.